Hello, my name is Chelsea Blake, and this is my interpersonal communication project for HSCO 508 at Liberty University. This project will cover my overarching goals, behavioral blend, interpersonal communication challenges, action plan, and biblical worldview. I have 3 overarching goals. The first is remembering when listening to the struggles of my family members that their problem is not mine to solve. Peterson notes that advising implies that they cannot solve their problems as well as I can. Next is learning to say no when I feel threatened in interpersonal communications with more dominant individuals. Stewart states, assertiveness is behavior that promotes equality in human relationships, enabling us to act in our own best interest, to stand up for ourselves without undue anxiety, to express honest feelings comfortably, and to exercise personal rights without denying the rights of others. Peterson adds that we are not here to please people, but rather to act on their behalf. Finally, is becoming more decisive and allowing my opinions to be heard. Stewart reminds me that my views and feelings are as legitimate, valuable, and important as yours, no more, but no less. My behavioral blend is ISC. This means that I am both passively and actively people-oriented, as well as passively task-oriented. My expected and actual behavioral blends are similar. This means that I present myself in a similar way both professionally and at home. Some positives of my behavioral blend are that I am relational, supportive, and often enthusiastic. Some negatives of my behavioral blend are that I am often indecisive, easily intimidated by stronger personality types, and at times critical. I have listed 4 of my interpersonal communication challenges. The first is ritual listening. Peterson defines ritual listening as waiting for the other person to pause so we can get our point across. Stress also makes communication challenging for me. When I am experiencing high levels of stress, I communicate least effectively and often cause undue conflict. Interjecting is a third communication challenge that I face. I have noticed my tendency to interject more often in recent months. I tend to interject or complete a thought for the speaker rather than patiently waiting for the speaker to complete the thought on his own. My 4th and final communication challenge for the purpose of this presentation is conflict anxiety. Peck, as cited in Bertino, states that conflict in and of itself is not bad, but necessary. Opinions that differ from our own help us to learn and grow. My action plan also consists of 4 parts. Part 1 is to practice intentional listening in everyday conversations. Ralph G. Nichols, as cited in Sai Kumar, states that the most basic of all human needs is the need to understand and be understood. He also states that the best way to understand people is to listen to them. Part 2 is to learn to opt out of Peterson's flat brain tango. This means recognizing a thud and taking a moment to gulp to refocus my mind before responding. It will also require me to recognize that the flat brain syndrome of the person I am communicating with has made them defensive. Part 3 is to practice conflict resolution in a safe environment. Taking time to respond to conflict rather than reacting will help me to not become defensive or take criticism personally. Part 4 is to practice communicating decisively. A simple way to begin implementing decisive communication is by choosing a restaurant when my husband and I go out to dinner. This will help me to become more decisive and allow me to exercise the vulnerability of sharing my opinion in a non-stressful environment. The Bible has much to say on the topic of communication. Proverbs 10:19 says, "Where words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent." When I spend too much time speaking and not enough time listening, it is likely that I will say something to offend those I am speaking to. Proverbs 15:1 says, "A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." There have been many times when I have accidentally started a disagreement due to my tone of voice. Proverbs 15:1 is an excellent reminder to keep my tone of voice in check when I am speaking with someone. Proverbs 18:2 says, "A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion." When I am more concerned about inserting my opinion into the conversation than I am about understanding the speaker, I am being foolish. Proverbs 18:13 says, "If one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame." Attempting to interject my own advice before I have truly heard the speaker will likely be embarrassing because I may not know the issues that they are facing. Finally, James 1:19-20 says, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger, for the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God." James 1:19-20 reminds me that if I spend more time listening and less time speaking, I will likely spend much less time in unrighteous anger. Before jumping to conclusions about what someone is going to say, I should listen thoroughly and then respond appropriately. Thank you for listening to my interpersonal communication project. In this presentation, I covered my overarching goals, behavioral blend, interpersonal communication challenges, action plan, and biblical worldview. I would like to end with a reminder from Peterson that teeth marks in the tongue are signs of a good listener. As I continue to practice interpersonal communication, I will wear my teeth marks as a badge of honor. Thank you.